There's rent assistance in the new stimulus bill of $25 billion. I'm going to show you how to get it. I'm going to show you who qualifies, how much money you could be receiving. It could be thousands of dollars every single month. It could be thousands of dollars for rent that you're past due on. I'm going to show you exactly how to get it in this video. Now, before we get into it, I have a link in the description below for SoFi Money. It's a $50 sign-up bonus for a free checking account with free ATM access, something that I use. I thought I'd pass it along. With that being said, my name is Kevin Conway. I make personal finance videos and other stimulus news videos all the time. So if you want to stay informed and get the latest on unemployment insurance, EIDL grants where you can get up to $10,000, stimulus checks, and other things like how to invest, how to generate passive income, how to buy real estate, be sure to subscribe to this channel. Now, if anyone is interested that you know in this renter assistance and how to get it, or if you think anyone that you know might benefit, please just share this video with them and give a like to it. If you like it, YouTube prioritizes it and pushes it out to more people, and more people can get the information on how to get renter assistance. With that being said, let's just get right into the details. So in the $900 billion stimulus bill, there's $25 billion specifically allocated for states and local governments to give renter assistance. This is not deferment of rent. This is not a forbearance of any kind. It is direct payment of your rent from the government to your landlord so that you do not owe the rent for that month or the past months that you're getting that assistance for. Now, here are the basic details. The Department of Treasury is taking that $25 billion and allocating it basically across the country according to population. Here's a few maps that show you basically where the money is going. As you can see, Los Angeles County is the largest county. It's getting hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, and so on and so forth down the row. Now, you're going to be applying for this renter aid directly with your local governments. Now, each city in each county is going to be different, but I'm going to pin a comment where I'm going to have all of the major metros on here, Los Angeles, Miami, etc. I'm going to put them all down here so you can go directly to that site. And if you're somebody out there who has, a recommendation, or you live in a more rural place, comment it and I will put it in my pinned comment so we can help people out so they can apply directly for that aid. Now, what is this aid specifically for? As I said, it is not a deferment of rent, it's actual payment of rent directly from the state government or your local government to your landlord directly. Now, it can be used for past due rent, current rent, past due utilities, current utilities, or other miscellaneous costs having to do with the pandemic. Now, there are certain things that you need to qualify for in order to get this. You need to meet the following criteria. Number one, you need to either have qualified for unemployment benefits, so you've lost your job and your state has determined that you're qualified for unemployment insurance, or experienced a reduction in household income, incurred significant costs, or experienced financial hardship directly or indirectly to, as a result of the pandemic, and you must attest in writing. It's actually similar to mortgage forbearance, if any of you guys are familiar with that and how that resulted as a result of this stimulus bill. But essentially, if you've been affected negatively financially because of the pandemic, you meet the first criteria. Now, second, you must demonstrate a risk of experiencing homelessness or housing instability. So that means that you're a renter. If you don't make your rent, you're going to be evicted. That's housing instability. That's pretty straightforward. You all need a place to live, and if you're not paying your rent, well, then you're not going to be able to have a place to live. Now, this includes specifically, these are the things that qualify housing instability. Getting an eviction notice. So if you haven't paid your rent, get an eviction notice, boom, you meet that second criteria. Number two, you get a rent past due notice. So you haven't paid your rent, and it's been 5, 6 days, 10 days, whatever it may be. Your landlord sends you a notice. You have that piece of paper, boom, that also qualifies, for this second criteria. Now, there's other things as well. So if you have unsafe or unhealthy living conditions as a result of the pandemic, that also qualifies for you. If you have a past due utility notice, you didn't pay your electric bill, your water bill, your gas bill, etc., that also meets this second criteria. Or if you just have general other evidence. So if you have other things that basically support that idea that you may be experiencing soon, homelessness or housing instability, that meets that second criteria. The third criteria that you need to meet is that you need to have an income at or below 80% of area median income, meaning you must make no more than 80% of whatever the average worker in your area, as defined legally, we're going to get into that, makes in that area. So you need to basically have an income 80% or below of area median income. Now, how's that calculated? That's either based upon total income for 2020 or monthly income now at the time of application, meaning if you just lost your job, say a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago, and though your income earlier on in 2020 was pretty good, and now you don't have any income, that also qualifies for you. So if you have income in totality in 2020 that's lower than 80% AMI, area median income, in your area, or you just lost your job, or you just had reduction in hours, or basically you're not making as much money as you did previously, and now you're 80% or below of your area median income, that meets your third criteria. So quickly, let's summarize. You need number one, to have experienced financial hardship directly or indirectly in some manner and have evidence of that. Number two, you need to have risk of housing instability or homelessness. And number three, you need to have income at or below 80% of your area's median income. Those are the three things that you need in order to get rent assistance, rental aid, whatever you call it. And this renter aid can be significant. If you're in Los Angeles, it could be $2,000 every single month. If you're in Miami, it could be $5,000. I mean, there's all sorts of things that could really help you here. This is real cash that can actually go directly into your pocket. So if you fit those three criteria, you're in luck because you're able to get assistance. Now, you're gonna go on a lot of these websites that I have in the link below, and they're gonna say, we don't have any more money. We ran out of money because of the last CARES Act ran out of money. That's fine, because a lot of these places haven't updated their systems and websites as a result of the newly passed law that just passed basically a week ago. So give them time. It'll be about a week, maybe 2 weeks in certain places. Some places have already begun accepting applications. I saw in New York, they were accepting applications. So just be patient and realize that this money is coming to your local government, but you need to be prepared so that you can get your information into them as quickly as possible. Now I'm gonna stop right there. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and please give a like to this video so that we can push this out to more people so that they can get help. Now, let's go into some of the other details that you need to know. First off, the agencies are going to determine that you're not receiving duplicative assistance from other federal governments when they give you this aid. So basically, they don't want to be paying you rent and have another government agency that they don't really know about also paying you rent, and then you're double dipping. Kind of makes sense because they want the money to go out to all the people that need it. There's a limited amount of money and they don't want to double pay people. So that's something to keep in mind as well. And they're also going to have you certify every 3 months by checking that the rent assistance is not basically, no longer in place. So say you got a really good job right after you began getting rent assistance, they want to make sure that that's not the case, because if all of a sudden you're able to support yourself on your own, well, they don't want to be continuing paying your rent, but they're going to do that about every 3 months or so. So just keep that in mind as well. But just know that the rent assistance doesn't count as income when they're doing that certification. Now, there is a big warning. You need to know that the money is limited, and they are going to prioritize those individuals who have either, number one, been unemployed for longer than 90 days, or those who make below 50% of area median income. Those are going to be the high priority people. If you're one of those two groups, you have a higher chance of actually getting this rent assistance. Just keep that in mind. I know it's kind of frustrating, but there's a limited amount of money, and they're going to prioritize those individuals who have lost their job and have not had a job for more than 90 days, or those individuals who make below 50% of area median income. That's why it's so important to apply as soon as you can. It's so important to know about this as soon as you can, so you can get your information in right away. Now, like I said, where do you apply exactly? What are the actual agencies that you apply? I have my pinned comment, if you look in the comments below, of some of the major metros that actually are the places that you apply. Again, there's not one major agency that you apply to, because the Department of Treasury sent this money out to all the localities and states around the country, and they are going to determine how to actually distribute it and how to actually get it. So, for example, you apply a certain place in Los Angeles, certain place in Miami, certain place in New York, certain place in Austin, Texas. It's all going to be different. But one of the key things that you could do is either look at my comment or simply Google rent assistance and then your city's name. And chances are there's going to be something up there that says pandemic rent assistance. Click here and make sure it's a government website, and then you're going to be able to apply there, and make sure that the criteria I'm talking about here is on that website, because that is the mandatory thing from this federal law that all of the localities must abide by. That is, the three things that we talked about previously. So that's the long and short of it. Those are the three criteria that you need to meet, and you're also going to probably have a few additional things that your states and local governments are going to want to see as well in your application. There's some below, some websites you can check out. You can check out your local website to see what you need to provide, but that's basically the long and short of it. And it's really as good as it gets. You can get $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, whatever it may be to help you with rent. And this could be a godsend to a lot of people. This could be on top of your unemployment insurance, your stimulus checks, and everything else. There are several other programs that could help you as well. Obviously, unemployment insurance is one of them. And I have a video kind of going over the unemployment insurance, how to get it, what are the rules that apply. So be sure to look at that one as well. But just so you know, there's also the eviction moratorium, meaning they can't evict you in housing that is governed by federal law, which is the majority of housing across the country, until later on this month, January 31st. That is the minimum. Now, every state is going to be different. In my home state of California, for example, California actually has extended that eviction moratorium and likely will extend it to basically the end of this year. So if you live in one of those states, you also have the benefit of not being evicted so long as you don't violate your lease and do other things, if you just simply cannot make rent as a result of the pandemic. Now, I wouldn't suggest that you don't pay your rent. The reason is because you're eventually going to have to. So do what you can, but just know that there are programs like the rent assistance at your state or local government that can help you out to make rent today so that you don't fall behind. This is money that you don't have to pay back. It is money that comes directly from your state agency to help you pay for bills, help you pay for utilities, help you pay for rent today. I hope that was helpful for you out there. Please, if you have any comments, leave them below. I'm an attorney here in California, so I have read the law and I know how it applies here, and I'm doing my best to give you the information as I see it. Of course, I'm not your attorney. This is just for education purposes here, but I want you to be aware so that you can get educated yourself and know exactly the programs out there that could help you, because I think this is a huge program that simply isn't talked about very much. I mean, $25 billion, that's a chunk of change. I mean, if you're somebody out there who is renting, I mean, that's a pretty good deal to get money just to help you out, even if it's 1 month, a couple weeks, or a couple months of past due rent. It could be a really good thing. For all of those out there who aren't subscribed, consider subscribing. Comment below with any questions you have and any video ideas, video suggestions, any topics you want me to cover. I'm happy to do so. I like making these videos. So please just do that and give a like to this video and share it with anybody. With that being said, my name is Kevin Conway, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.